What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Zary, and before we get into the video, I just want to remind everybody, if you're under level 15 and you want $10 worth of free stuff, go to your settings, go to use promo code, and type in XMGGift. You do that, you'll get $10 worth of free stuff. It helps support the channel. So if you're under level 15, make sure you're using that promo code XMGGift. Enjoy the video. Good morning, everybody. It is Zary, and we are here for Bar and Rel Noob series. This is going to be a little bit different noob series than what I normally do because the half pigs essentially don't have a full team yet. So it's kind of hard to judge them, but I will say first off, I'm impressed with number one, how they made this half pigs seem whole, as you feel like you're playing two characters in one, and I really enjoy that, at least for Bar and Rel. I love how it kind of flows like that together. And Bar and Rel, if at the end we're going to talk about how I feel, but if the rest of the half pigs are kind of as impressive as Bar and Rel, it's going to be a fun faction to play with. And when we talk about Bar and Rel, we got to talk about this first. We got to mention Instructor Goram, because Instructor Goram right now is the lead for the half pigs. So let's take a look at that first. All half pigs and half pig minions. So you have the race classified as half pigs, and then the minions are the ones he drops. Okay, the ones that we've had the whole time. They get 10% tenacity for each allied goblin in the party. They get 10% crit damage increase for each half pig and 5% crit damage for each half pig minion. Alright, so right then and there, they're showing us that we need to make that combination to half pigs, right? Half pig goblin is going to be kind of a mishmash, and I like how it incorporates both. The half pig minions have a 50% chance to assist half pig's attack. So when Goram drops his half pig minions, they can assist. Those are the only ones that provide an assist unless it's built into a kit. So in his leadership, we're seeing crit damage and tenacity. So we got to keep that in mind when we look at all the characters. So let's get back over to Bar and Rel and see what they got to say. So here we are, Bar and Rel. Bar and Rel, there are 73 champions now in the game with the introduction of the half pigs and dwarves. So this is all ranked out of 73 champions. Bar and Rel is classified as half pigs, fighter, and a warrior. Alright, so we're going to start like we always do with speed. 142 coming in at 26th in the game. So he is above average in the game. He's above that halfway. 142 for a fighter warrior. We'll take it. Health is fantastic. At 8th in the game at 30,450. Shield, 33rd in the game at 25,135. So speed, average, health uncharacteristically high for a fighter warrior. So that's something to keep in mind. Really good multiplier on that for secondary stats, things of that nature. So we move over to health and shield combination. 13th in the game, 55,585. Excellent. Physical damage, 3,200 or 3,021, coming in at 11th. Really high there. Love what I'm seeing so far. Critical chance at 30.78, coming in at 36th in the game. Pretty much dead center, but we can work with 30% on a damage dealer. Physical armor, 40th in the game, so he's weak against the physical damage dealers of the world at 30.89, almost 31%. Magic armor, 18th, 36.12. So, you know, this is how it works. Usually one armor is low, one armor is high. So, magic armor, not bad though. We are kind of in a physical damage dealing meta with Falane, Garrett, Eric Shieldbreaker, so that is kind of tough. But magic armor, 18th in the game. Something to work with. Potency. Potency. 65th in the game. Horrible. So let's hope he doesn't need it. Tenacity, tied for 12th. at 28. Now, being tied for 12th, I say this all the time in the noob videos, being tied for 12th is like 50s. 30 is about average for this game, so he's a little bit below average there, but he does receive that tenacity increase from Instructor Goram's lead, so we got to keep that in mind as well. So stat takeaways, what are we looking at? He has great health. His health isn't even, his health is something we got to keep in mind. It's going to be really beneficial for us in those multipliers and secondaries on our runes, because we're always looking for survivability in runes, right? Speed. Speed is an A+ or A-, it's kind of there. We can work with it. We're used to seeing those 140 speeds for the fighter warrior faction. Physical damage is a plus. That is great. His physical armor, magical armor, plus and a minus, you know, like we already talked about. Critical chance is very kind of blasé. I mean, we can work with it, but we, you know, for being that damage dealer, we kind of want him to be higher. And then obviously potency being 8. Man, that's rough. That is rough. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump over back into the game. We're going to take a look at his move kit, break that down, and talk about what we see in there. Alright, so we're back inside the game here. We're going to start. We normally start with the basic, but what we're going to do first is start with the passive. I feel it's more important to start with the passive, because half pigs have a special ability called Oink. Now, each character, when they have Oink on them, and they each have different ways to get Oink, and if they have Oink, they get something different than if they don't have Oink, so we need to start there, okay? So, I didn't take any ability up to level 7 here, so we are just straight gonna read level 6. So, when he has no Oink, Bar and Rel have a 50% chance to reduce damage taken by 75%, and then they receive Oink. And then they lose Oink at the end of the turn. So, this is a weird mechanic. You want Oink to get hit. You know, people might want to take him out because he's a damage dealer. He gets hit, he'll receive Oink, and then when he go after his turn, he loses Oink. So, you kind of want him to get hit. So, you're seeing, like, AoE damage dealers can kind of mess up how you want to play this team. And again, we got to wait to see until we have all the half pigs how this really plays out. So if Cent and Turion are on the battlefield, they both receive haste for 2 turns at the start of the battle. So you're increasing your speed at the start of your battle. So we're seeing if he doesn't have Oink, he's going to reduce the amount of damage he takes. But he's got a pretty high health and shield combination, which is good because you're going to want him to get hit to get that Oink. And the Oink plays into other moves as we progress, so let's move over to the next one. We're going to jump over to the basic ability here, and it deals 265 physical damage to an enemy. That is a high-end physical damage on a basic. If he has Oink, he's dazing the enemy for 2 turns. If he doesn't have Oink, he recovers 20% of their turn meter. Wow. So you want him to get hit, because if you attack somebody with a basic and you don't have Oink, you're giving them turn meter. Oh, I'm sorry, I read 7. 75% chance to inflict daze, and then recovers 15% of their turn meter. So I apologize for that one, but still, the mechanics of it are the same. 220 physical damage is about more accurate for a basic, and 75% chance to inflict daze. 8 potency. We're seeing potency rear its ugly head here. We need to have that potency, because dazing a target for 2 turns, he's going to go through 2 of the potency tenacity checks, and it could be rough. But you want Oink on this character, otherwise you're feeding the opposing team turn meter. Craziness. I got some on my hat. Second ability, Hognado. Let me go to level 6 so I don't make that same mistake. Deals 230 physical damage to all enemies, so we're seeing an AoE. If he has Oink, he has a 50% chance to inflict slow for 2 turns. If he has no Oink, he has a 50% chance to inflict bleeding for 2 turns. So in this move, we're seeing potency, physical damage. Again, we're seeing the 2 potency tenacity checks. And wow, slow and bleed. Interesting. Because if he doesn't have Oink, he could fit into that bleed team, right? But if he has it, he's putting slow on, still very beneficial, but going through those double potency tenacity checks with a potency of 8 sucks. And his third and final move here, and Oink Raging, I think, Oink Raging, he applies a damage increase to all allies for 2 turns. That's significant, because you're going to be dropping those half-pig minions. Now that is awesome. He applies an extra potency increase to half-pigs and half-pig minions for 2 turns. Again, huge move. We're seeing that potency deficiency. He's giving himself a potency increase. So it's not as terrible as we thought. So essentially, when you start the battle, you want to put this on. If Centurion are on the battlefield, they recover 25% turn meter to them and themselves. Now that's kind of tricky, but when Centurion are on the battlefield, Bar and Rel gain 25%, and Centurion gain 25%. So you can kind of see Centurion, you get a lot of good things when they're in the battlefield together. Move kit takeaways. You have to understand what Oink versus no Oink is going to do. You're like, oh, I got to get that daze up. But if you don't have Oink, you're not going to inflict the daze. And you have to be careful, because if say you're attacking a tank, right, who has his taunt up, you don't want to attack him with Oink. You want to attack him with no Oink, because then you're going to feed him the turn meter to get through that taunt faster. So the third one I have here, you must pay attention to your Oink versus no Oink. And this isn't a team you really want to put on auto, I found, with just the 2 of them, because it doesn't play as well. And the other one on here is he needs potency, but he increases his potency, but it's not enough. His potency needs to be higher than that of when he even gets the potency increase. So that's something we want to keep in mind, because Goram's lead only affects crit damage and tenacity, not potency. So that's something we're going to want to keep in mind. So when we talk about rune sets, there's a lot of different ways you could rune this character. You could want him to be the damage dealer, so you could go damage with a potency set and look for potencies in the secondaries, things like that. You could go speed potency, increasing how fast he goes, take down his damage a little bit, but he has pretty decent damage to begin with. You could go 3 potency sets. You kind of want him, you want to take him from that fighter role to a support character role. You could do that with 3 potency sets. And then you could go 2 potency sets and a crit chance set, since he'll be receiving that crit damage increase from Goram's lead. You could go that route as well. Now, what I found to be most beneficial is speed and potency. Now, he can really do some damage with damage and potency, but I just couldn't get him to go enough to really be impactful. So, remember, we're kind of wasting our first move to get that damage increase up. So, he's increasing his damage with potency there. I found speed and potency to be the best. But if you want to make him a support character to get out those bleeds and stuns, when I played him in a bleed set, right, I went 3 potency on him, and it was fantastic. He was spreading bleed everywhere. So it was really cool to see. So it depends on how you want to use him. But speed and potency gives you the best of both worlds, in my opinion. So that's where we went with that one. And in the secondaries, we're looking for damage, speed, potency, crit chance, and anything survivability. Now, he has fantastic health to start. So you're going to get more benefit. Say you get a 2.68% health. You're going to get way more benefit out of that than a 2.68% shield. So keep that in mind. But it doesn't make or break it at all. So really the main ones, damage, speed, potency, critical chance, get in your survivability, go from there. So here's what I did for the rune sets. I went with speed and potency, and we'll go over those. And his damage, I went with speed, armor, shield, potency. Here I went for speed. I made sure I had some potency in there, some damage, health, and shield. Obviously, we got to go armor in the southeastern rune. I went speed, damage, potency. I got critical chance to hit 3 times I'll take that. And the Southern Rune, I went damage. You could go critical chance here, you could go crit damage, but I liked what I got here. I got some damage, tenacity, which he is getting a bump in, armor for a little bit of survivability, got some speed, got a little bit more damage. I'm okay with that. I went shield here because of the secondary stats. Now, you could go health and increase that already great health like I was talking about. But like I said earlier, finding, you know, the right primary here could cripple your secondary stats. And I like the secondaries here with the 7 speed. I got a damage, I got some potency, and a little extra tenacity. I went potency here. Now, I think you should always go potency here no matter how you rune him. You got shield, damage, some health, and a little bit more tenacity. So when we look at his stats, remember, I have him gear 11 with the gear 11, almost gear 12 pieces on there. But we're just going to look at how much I added to the character. So starting with his physical damage, we were able to put another 314 on, and I don't have any artifacts on this character. All right, crit chance, I got 3.47, all from that one rune, essentially. And he's almost at 30%, so I'll take it, right? Then we have health, 705, so okay. Physical armor and magic armor, we brought up 2%. Shield, we brought up 5,438, or 23. I don't know where I got 38 from. So health and shield combination is almost 70k. That's awesome for a fighter, right? Speed, over 200. We gave him 64 speed. Fantastic. Potency, we gave him almost 40%. That is humongous. So that is great. Now when he puts on that potency increase, he pretty much has a 1 in 2 shot of landing that debuff. For somebody who starts with 8, we'll take it. And we got his tenacity up 5%. So really happy with what we did here, and I like it. So before we jump into just like a fight, because you can't really take him into like a challenge yet or anything like that. So before we jump into a fight, let me tell you that the team you're going to see is the most beneficial one I found. I run a Goram lead with Adam, Centurion, Bar, Rel, and then I put in, you can put in a Thanisa for heals. You can put in Dr. Frank for the overshield, and that's kind of what I did. Now you could put in a major shot, but that's kind of, I went with Dr. Frank. I found that one to be the most survivable. Now, I'm going into arena with gear 12s, things like that, so don't expect them to win, but I took them against a demon comp, and I do okay. I made it longer than I thought I was going to make. I am thoroughly impressed with how these characters feel like 2 characters while playing 1. It does take some coordination. You kind of got to think before you move, and I kind of like that. When this team comes together, it has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. So don't be discouraged that they're going to come in and just blow people away, because they are very easily to be countered. So you got to keep that in mind, right? Alright, so here we go. We're kind of facing the buff-led demon squad. We have Kira, we have Mordoom, Shadar, and Kyra. Now, here is Bar and Rel, and we got Centurion in the background. Noob series to come on that. I'm still putting all the slides and stuff together. So we're going to start with this move here. We're going to start with the apply the damage increase to all allies. We gain back some turn meter. Now here, we could go for here. He doesn't have Oink, so he's going to inflict an armor decrease. Well, we want to kind of get Shadar out of here, so we're going to do that. Put out our dazes. We're going to try to get Adam his taunt, and of course we didn't, so that kind of screws us up here. Now, we don't have Oink, so we're going to feed turn meter to Kyra, or Kiri, I'm sorry. Or we could go here, and we have no Oink, so we could put bleeding on. So we're going to try to go here. I'm going to slow this down so you can see some of the damage here on Hognado. Not too shabby. We got a lot of, we got 1 bleed, 2 bleeds, 3 bleeds out on the field. Okay. So with Cent, we don't have the taunt up, so now we're going to put his taunt up on him. And we just gained Oink from his taunt, so we can keep that in mind as we play. Alright, so here we are going to go for the AoE. No taunt there, but we still have the taunt up on Centurion. Get some shield back. We're going to go after buff. Of course, he dodged. Now here, we don't have Oink. Oh, we do have Oink. Okay, good. So we have Oink, so we're going to put Daze on if it lands. He dodged. Of course he dodged, but it's buff. We're going to drop our half pig. Now, no Oink. We want to feed turn meter to Kyra here. And as you can see, feeds the turn meter. Go for the basic. We just lost Adam. See, but as you can see, they're not coming in and crushing stuff, right? I'm fighting gear 12s. But you can kind of see how they work and how they could be beneficial. And how you gotta pay attention to what they're doing. So there is the Noob series for Bar and Rel. And I like the kind of direction these half pigs are going and what they're doing. And you know what? We didn't get slaughtered. And I'll take that. So, yeah. So, Sen and Turion are going to be next. And I'm just working on finishing up the infographics for that. So maybe tomorrow or the next day. So, there is the Noob series. And I hope it helped people out. Sen and Turion, when I get them unlocked, which I think I just did. Or Bar and Rel. I think I got 2 shards left. I'm sorry. I got 2 shards left for Bar and Rel. And what I think I'm going to do with them is I'm going to bump them up the gearing list. You know, right now I'm finishing off Uncle Ho. And then I'm going to go to, then I was going to go to Radash and Thanisa, but I think I'm going to go Bar and Rel and Set and Turion next. So, yeah. They've impressed me that much. So, that's what I got for anybody. Any questions, leave them down below. And as always, if you're just finding me for the first time and you're liking what you're seeing, click that subscribe button, turn on notifications, all that good stuff to go along with it. For all my XMG family members out there, you know I love you. See you in the next one. I'm out.